Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. So yeah, Diddy has been sentenced to 50 months in prison, just over 4 years, for his conviction on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The judge also ordered him to serve 5 years of supervised release after prison. So Diddy's lawyers argued he should be released almost immediately, asking for a sentence of no more than 14 months, including time served. Prosecutors, on the other hand, pushed for more than 11 years. So, along with prison time, the judge fined Diddy $500,000, the maximum allowed. He explained this was higher than the guidelines, but said he took into account Diddy's immense resources, which enabled his crimes. Before sentencing, the judge gave powerful remarks, but first, Diddy had the chance to speak. So Diddy stood up, shuffled through his papers, took a deep breath, and began. I want to thank you for letting me finally speak for myself. One of the hardest things has been having to stay quiet, not being able to say how sorry I am. I want to apologize again to Cassie Ventura for any pain I caused her, emotionally or physically. I apologize to her family. I also want to apologize to Jane. I never meant to hurt you. I'm sorry I pulled you into my mess. He went on to apologize to all victims of domestic violence, saying that video, that disgusting, despicable video, triggered a lot of people around the world. Domestic violence is a burden I will carry forever. Yeah, as you should. Diddy said his actions were disgusting, shameful, and sick. I was sick from the drugs. I was out of control. He said, I needed help and I didn't get it, but I can't make excuses. I knew better. My mother raised me better. My faith taught me better. I lost myself in ego and excess. Because of my choices, I lost my freedom, my career, my businesses, and the chance to raise my children and care for my mother. He said the worst loss was his self-respect. I've been humbled and broken to my core. I hate myself right now. I've been stripped down to nothing. Turning to his children in the courtroom, he said, I want to apologize to my 7 children. You deserve better. He then faced his mother, his voice breaking. I'm sorry. You taught me better. You raised me better. I know to whom much is given, much is expected. I failed you. I failed my community. He turned back to address the judge. Growing up as a kid, I just wanted to be a shining example of what we could do. I say we as people of color, that we could own our own businesses, take care of our own communities, raise our own children, solve our own problems, create our own wealth, take care of our own problems. That was my mission. I got lost. I'm not this bad person. I'm sorry to my community for letting y'all down. He said, people can change. I know I've changed. Sometimes, no matter who you were before you get so shaken, it just changes your trajectory. It must changes you, and it changes you for the better. Sometimes, you have to go through life experiences. These are not excuses. I can't change the past, but I can change the future. I ask your honor for mercy. I beg your honor for mercy. I ask your honor for the chance to be a father again. I ask your honor for the chance to be a son again. I ask your honor for the chance to be a leader in my community again. I ask your honor for a chance to get the help that I desperately need to become a better person, because I don't want to let God down. I don't want to let my family down. He went on to say he's learned his lesson. I don't have nobody to blame but myself. I know I'll never put my hands on another person again. I know that I've learned my lesson. I'm willing to comply with any conditions the court puts on me. Given a chance, when we talk about the possibility of me sharing my story, it's not just a scheme to try to get less time. It's that this story is real. This story is tragic. He thanked the jury for their sacrifice during their 2-month trial, saying, "Your Honor gave me the confidence to believe in the jury and to believe I didn't have to testify. The jury came and sacrificed their time in the summer. They sacrificed time with their children, and I thank them for the not guilty verdicts. I don't take lightly my Mann Act conviction. I understand the severity of it, and I'm having to deal with the consequences. And I take full accountability and responsibility. Now, I know the prosecution wants you to make an example of me. I just want you to think about making an example of what a person can do if they get another chance. If you give me another chance, I won't let you down." And the evidence of that is those beautiful children that got up there and spoke for me. He again thanked his children for speaking on his behalf, adding, "I would never, ever, ever jeopardize being in this situation again, being away from my family that needs me. That's my deterrence." Then the judge addressed Diddy. He stressed that Diddy was being sentenced for the Mann Act convictions, not for the sex trafficking and racketeering charges he was acquitted of. The judge said he considered that Diddy is a self-made artist and businessman who has inspired and lifted up communities, and that his work and influence are celebrated and iconic. He said Diddy's achievements are even more impressive because of the struggles he faced in his childhood. The judge told Diddy, "These drugs may have exacerbated your erratic and violent behavior over the years. However, the court has to consider all of your history here." He also told Diddy that his work history, impact on the Black community, and entrepreneurship are celebrated and iconic. That's especially impressive given the early violent death of your father and the trauma that must have left. The judge said there was no doubt that Diddy is devoted to his family, but he also said he rejects the defense's attempt to characterize the freak-offs and hotel nights as intimate, consensual experiences or just a sex, drugs, and rock and roll story. A history of good works cannot erase the power and control you had over the women you profess to love dearly. You abused them physically, emotionally, and psychologically, and you use that to get your way. The judge added, "I was sitting right here during the testimony of Cassie, Ventura, and Jane. We read about it in text messages and emails. We saw it in the images of gashes, bruises, broken doors. And we saw the video of your savage beating of Miss Ventura. This was subjugation, and it drove both Miss Ventura and Jane to thoughts of ending their lives. That is the reality of what happened." He said the court is not assured that if Diddy was released, these crimes will not be committed again. He said sexual violence is unfortunately common and that a substantial sentence must be given to send a message to abusers and victims alike that abuse against women is met with real accountability. The judge said a sentence of more than 11 years, as requested by the government, is not reasonable. He explained that Diddy's actions were serious crimes that irreparably harmed 2 women who are still suffering from the effects today. The conduct occurred for over a decade with tremendous frequency over that time period. Why did it happen that long? Because you had the power and the resources to keep it going, and because you weren't caught. The judge pointed out that what stood out most about Diddy's claims of remorse was that he assaulted Jane in June 2024, even after authorities executed search warrants after the Intercontinental Hotel video was released and after he had already apologized on Instagram. The judge said, "You brutally assaulted Jane." He then read an excerpt from Jane's testimony about the hotel night and the assault she suffered in June 2024 and said her testimony was credible. The part he read was when after Diddy attacked Jane, he forced her to give the escort, So Judge Subramanian repeated that a substantial sentence must be given to send a message to abusers and victims alike that abuse against women is met with real accountability. He noted that this would be hard time away from Diddy's family, but reminded him that he would still have a life after prison. He said, "This is serious sentence that reflects the gravity of your crimes and conduct." The judge ordered outpatient treatment and mental health programs. He also thanked the victims for coming forward. He said Cassie Ventura and Jane have been through abuse and trauma that most of us cannot imagine. I want to say first, we heard you. To Ms. Ventura, Jane, and the other victims here who came forward, I can only say your families are proud of you, and your children, when they are old enough, will be proud of you. And I am proud of you for telling the world what really happened. You were speaking to the millions of women out there who have been victims but feel invisible and powerless and had to suffer in silence. You told those women in the world that violence behind closed doors doesn't have to stay hidden forever. The number of people who you reach is incalculable. So after announcing the sentence, Judge Subramanian spoke directly to Diddy, saying he knows Diddy is probably in a dark place right now, but that he and his family would get through it. He said, "There is a light at the end of the tunnel. All these letters that I saw show that you have a universe of people who loves you." He was referring to letters from Diddy's mother, sister, children, and his, so-called exes. His beards. So let them lift you up now, just like you lifted them up for so many years. So in closing, the judge told Diddy, "You will have a chance to show your children and the world what real accountability and healing look like." So I thought he would get way more than 4 years, at least 10. But now it's over. I'm drained from this case. Anyway, I knew he was going to put on a show. I knew he was going to cry. I said this so many times, okay? That's what narcissists do. They love to put on a show. Since he could not testify, so this was his time to make it all about him and to put on a show and cry and be dramatic. And he even had his family members crying. And Nicole Westmoreland, his attorney, had a meltdown crying. It was just like, what the heck? Like, this is crazy. Like, really, Diddy? So, and then the thing is, too, Nicole Westmoreland and his other lawyer, Brian Steele, he called Diddy a civil rights leader. I'm like, what? Really? And Nicole Westmoreland was talking about everything that Diddy did for the Black community. And he wanted to, he opened doors for the Black community. And I'm like, this is brainwashing. This is what they do, okay? What did Diddy do for the Black people? What did he do? He stole from every artist. All of his artists he stole from. They all are broke. They're left broke, okay? Now, if they have some money, it's because they had to hustle. But he ripped off everybody. He didn't do anything for the Black community, but steal from them. He's a crook, okay? So they need to stop with that mess. Diddy is the type of person, like he'd love to be the only person at the table, okay? Now, if you happen to be there with him, he'll freaking brag along with you. He'll brag and he'll party with you. But to bring you up with him, no. He doesn't do that. He does not do that. He wants to be the only Black person at that damn table, okay? And then all he does is show off and brag. All he does is show off and brag. He doesn't make room for other people to get big as him or big with him. Are you kidding me? Look at everyone that he effed over. Everybody. So I don't know why they like to use this Black card, this race card. Oh yeah, he did this for the community. He didn't do anything for the community but steal from them. He just likes to brag and show off and wants to be worshipped and wants to do his crime in peace. Okay? That's all they like to do. Okay? They want to be the only one at the table, the only Black person at the table, right? And then when something goes wrong that they don't like, then they're they're racist, but they weren't racist when they had you at the table. So how come they're racist now? Because what? Because you did wrong and you are being held accountable? I mean, it's crazy. Diddy is a crook. Every single artist, they left broke. They died broke, okay? So they need to stop with this brainwashing. Oh, black people. He was wanted to be with black people, this black people. He wanted to do things for black people. No, he didn't. He was just happy that he was allowed to become successful and whatever he had to do to become successful and all that. Okay? He doesn't care about bringing anyone up with him to his level. No, that's their mentality. So Nicole Westmoreland, yeah, girl, you're a good lawyer, you're great and all, but yeah, that was cringe. That was really cringe, okay? So Diddy is no civil rights leader. Diddy is no leader. Diddy is a freaking scumbag, a douchebag, a loser with money. That's all. A loser with money. That's it. So, anyway, what do you think of Diddy's sentence? Do you agree with just over 4 years? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any update. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.